Welcome to Describing the Skybox, the podcast that's like a book club for people who don't think that books reward them enough for being good at them. I'm Chad Ruthermans.
And I'm Andy Kinney.
And today, we're going to be talking about Super Mario World, a game that was developed by Nintendo EAD, published for Nintendo, and released in 1990 on the Super Nintendo. And then it's just one of those games, you know, that Nintendo puts on stuff as an emulated version of it. There was, as you pointed out astutely, an official Game Boy Advance release that I believe was called like Super Mario Advance 2 Super Mario World.
Right, and it
on
probably
the
was
Game
like
Boy Advance.
And Yoshi or something.
Yeah,
just tacked
well,
onto the end of it.
Yeah, because they were just numbered in a stupid way.
Yeah, but I think, and don't quote me on this at all because I've not played it, but like I think that one is like a unique port that does have some differences.
I have played it. I don't remember there being differences, but there very well could be. Because I know that series also had the All-Stars version of 3 as one of its ports, I think. So it would make sense that they may have done something to update it in some way to make it work better on the GBA. But that was in 2002.
It's like Nintendo and Square Enix that just love coming up with stupid names for their games.
They truly do. We were lucky that it was not called New Super Mario World. But first...
But first, if you give us a like or a rating, subscribe, follow us on Blue Sky, be greatly appreciated.
I feel like Blue Sky had we literally waited on getting a new social media platform for like probably 2 years beyond when it was due for us to do that. And now like there's some kind of AI horseshit controversy on Blue Sky.
Of course.
You cannot avoid, if you are a social media platform, you will suck ass, guaranteed.
For the foreseeable future. But Chad, can you describe Super Mario World?
Yeah. Super Mario World, which is what we're talking about exclusively today with no distractions, is a platformer game. And I mean, this one is weird to me because like I love to go like, oh, we're going to do this game from 1990 and we're doing it because it's like very influential or whatever. And it is, like, Super Mario World is an influential game for sure. But it isn't like genre defining in the way that the original Super Mario Brothers games were. Super Mario World feels like the most refined version of the old style of Super Mario game. To me, I suppose.
Yeah. And I'd never played it before. I was born 2 years after this game came out. And weirdly, I feel like the Super Nintendo just managed to fly under my radar completely. Like, I don't feel like I knew any friends that had one at the time. And I don't remember seeing commercials for it. Like, I just completely ignorant to the Super Nintendo until I was like in high school. Cause yeah, like when I was really young, I got an NES as a hand-me-down and played that for like 2 years. And then by the time I had the thought of I want something else, the N64 was already out. So yeah, I missed out on the Super Nintendo as a whole. So yeah, I never played this game at all. And it is interesting to come back to because like you try to take it in context like I have to because I didn't play it at the time. Yeah, it does feel like it doesn't, yeah, as you said, it's not like genre defining, but like you do see a lot of stuff, especially as somebody who's played Mario Maker. Like, I feel like this game does a lot of the heavy lifting for that. Like, this introduced the spin jump. I don't remember. Did they introduce Yoshi in Mario Maker 2?
No, I don't think you could. You could Yoshi in the first game, question mark.
No, I don't remember. But anyway, Yoshi comes from this game.
Yeah.
I think the whole like we'll get to this stuff later, so just put pins in it. But like the whole like secret exits to the levels, like they brought back in Mario Wonder, and you got the Star Road, which everybody knows about. I don't know. There is a lot of influential stuff in here, despite that. Yeah, as you said, yeah, it's more of a refinement. So yeah, so I mean, I think it's, I don't know if I'd say it's easy to appreciate, but like it's definitely, you notice things to appreciate about it, even if you've never played it before.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it wasn't like, it didn't set the stage for 2D platformers as a genre, but you can see the things that were picked specifically from this game when you play it. Like you feel its influence if you've played any 2D platformers that have ever released after 1990, I suppose. Which I do have to comment on. If every once in a while in my day-to-day life, I have to remember the fact that the Super Nintendo came out in 1990, and that fucks me up on like a timeline scale real bad. Because the consoles that I feel like I grew up with were the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And I had an NES and have memory of the NES. And I remember us then getting a Super Nintendo later on. And it was that, like, the fact that we got it later, but I had memory of it, meaning that it was at least like 5 years old at the time that we got it. It just like doesn't compute with me. For me, the Super Nintendo, and literally, if you only consider my lifespan, the Super Nintendo has always existed.
Right. Well,
there wasn't a time before it.
I feel like that was more common back then, like that kind of parenting attitude of like, we'll just get you the older, cheaper one. Because like that happened to us with the PlayStation 1. Like we didn't get a PS1 until, and we had like got the really tiny like redesigned model like after the PS2 had already come out. So yeah, I feel like that was pretty common.
That makes sense. Yeah. I don't remember when we got an N64, but we did get one as well. So, but I think we were sort of early adopters on like console stuff after the SNES. My brother and I were very vocal about it. But yeah, so one of those things that we aren't going to get distracted by on the episode. Yeah, you bring up a lot of things. The notes that I took, because I've been playing this game basically continuously since I was 5 years old. And I went to take notes on the game and found it just impossible for me to like objectively sort of like classify different parts of the game that I enjoyed. So I just wrote a list of things that I like about Super Mario World. It feels like a very sort of like third grade assignment that I've done here. But you bring up one of my favorite things about Super Mario World, which is the like talking about it being a refined version of older Mario games. The power-ups that are included in Super Mario World, I think, are my favorite set of power-ups. The Fire Flower is obviously classic and fills its purpose. The cape is incredible. It's the best power-up that's been in any Mario game, and nobody can convince me otherwise. And then I would lump Yoshi in there. And the fact that Yoshi has a lot of sort of like smaller, more niche mechanics tied to him is just a continuously sort of surprising and cool way to like change up mechanics and stuff throughout the game. So yeah, I do want to kind of like, I don't know. Okay, I mean, did you give a shit at all? I guess it was a good question.
About the power-ups?
As somebody who hadn't played it before.
About Mario World in general, or about the power-ups?
Well, about the power-ups.
Okay.
Do we want? I mean, I don't know if you wanted to frame your discussion for the whole episode right now by being like, going back to it, I thought that Mario World was poop from a butt.
I mean, I think we can get into that as we go along. But I did not think it was poop from a butt.
That's good.
But yeah, like I having just played it through one time, I also like the cape. I never quite got the handle on how to like, use it as like a wingsuit, because it always feels like he falls too fast and stuff. But I like it a lot though, and I feel like it gets a one up on the pun intended on the like wing cap or whatever, the bunny ears from previous games, just because it's also doubles as an attack. Which is all, yeah, I really like the spin attack and the spin jump in general. Not a power up, but probably my favorite addition. Yeah, it's cool. I like that they play around with it. Like there's at least 2, I think, levels where you need to like actually fly off to some place that you can't see to like get to an exit or something. I think that's cool. And yeah, you really see like it plants the seeds to like stuff you would see future games do. Like I guess yeah, we probably keep coming back to that, how the game is influential because it's so old. Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, the Fire Flower is my all-time favorite power up. It's, as you said, it's a classic. I'm trying to think if there's what else. Like Yoshi, I'm not the hugest fan of. I don't usually like rideable characters. I've never really liked them in Donkey Kong Country either. I feel like it's got that problem for me of like I'd rather just be controlling Mario. Like that, it always feels less satisfying than just being Mario, even though you do have advantages from having a Yoshi. I just am not the biggest fan. But I mean, once again, I only played it through one time, so probably just didn't get to like enough of a feel for it.
That's fair. But have you considered that when you're on Yoshi, it adds bongos to the backing track? That's
that
pretty
is the
great.
best part.
It actually, unironically, might be the best part. I do love those bongos.
It's either that or being able to just jump off of him and plunge him into a pit.
Also a great, because that's utility. You can get a double jump with him. Yeah,
I kind of fuck with my brain that he doesn't have the flutter jump. Like I feel like I would like jump off of stuff as Yoshi and like hold the jump button to like do the that he's known for nowadays, and nothing happens. I'm like, oh yeah, that wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, isn't it? But he does have other weird abilities, like the fact that he can walk on certain surfaces that would hurt Mario, like he can just stroll across them. It's like an interesting thing. I like that there are different colors of Yoshi. I realized just playing through sort of like the game in the way that it's intended to be played, a thing that I haven't done in quite some time. Both because I typically don't play the whole game when I sit down to play Mario World, but also just like I know secret exits and stuff at this point and kind of like to bounce around and do the things that I enjoy. But you don't really see that many of the different colored Yoshis. I don't think that I got a yellow Yoshi in my entire experience playing it this time. I did get a red and a blue at some point, but the yellow one was a mystery to me. But the fact that there are those like extra mechanical differences with the Yoshis is really nice. Is a cool way for them to sort of like play around with the same set of mechanics without changing it completely. And I like the way that they treat Yoshi like a guy who you have like a rapport with. Like when you go to the castles or ghost houses, you get off Yoshi before you go in. And it's like either Yoshi doesn't want to go into those particularly dangerous levels, or it's like because they're indoors, maybe, and you'd be too big. I don't know.
Yeah, I played through the whole thing and never saw anything but green Yoshi. I looked something up later in the game because it was like the first time you ever had to find a secret exit to progress or something like that. I was like, how do you get to the castle at this part? And it was like you need to have the cape or a blue Yoshi, and I was like, a what?
A blue Yoshi.
I was like, and then my guess was that you had to go back to Yoshi's Island at the beginning of the map. And like, because there was like the little spot right in the middle where you could go. And if you go there at the beginning, it's like, Yoshi's not home right now. Right. I was like, maybe you have to go back there and you can like recruit new colors of Yoshis or something. But I guess I just missed them.
Yeah, they're in some levels. I actually have to like think back. I know that there are a few that you can get in mainline levels. Red for sure, almost assuredly. But they may be like Star World levels that you mostly get them from. And that could be why I am not thinking of where you can find them normally. But yeah, blue Yoshi can fly. Red Yoshi spits out 3 fireballs whenever you like eat an enemy. And then the yellow Yoshi creates shockwaves when it lands on the ground.
Doesn't regular Yoshi spit the fireballs?
Yeah, he'll spit 1 fireball, but the right Yoshi spits 3 fireballs. Or he spits them by just pressing the button like a fire flower, not when he spits enemies, and Yoshi does spit 3. I can't remember at this stage of my life. But yeah, I think if you eat a fireball, Yoshi will spit 3. But yeah, so that's the multicolored Yoshi discussion. I do like the concept though. It's good. I wish it's a thing that they never really brought back. Like multicolored Yoshis having different abilities is a thing that like ambiently kind of happens occasionally in the Yoshi side of the Super Mario series. But it's never in a Mario game anymore.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Like, and maybe the game designers, maybe they lean a little in my direction where they'd rather focus on just Mario. But they do bring Yoshi back every now and then, and it does kind of feel like it's out of obligation, and they don't really know what to do with him. But I do think it's cool that even in this first game, where he's introduced, they have the different color thing. Because I feel like the first Yoshi game I ever played was Yoshi Story. And I don't know, there's just the different color Yoshi seems like a thing that would have been introduced later. And it's interesting to see that it was there from the beginning.
Yeah. I think similar, because we do talk about how games in the future sort of reference back to Super Mario World. I think one of the more interesting things for me coming back to it, and I do sense in my head, I feel like this is different than Mario 1 and 3. But the game design, just level design generally in World, I feel is a little bit meaner. I mean, it's a lot meaner than it is now. We talked about Super Mario Wonder when it came, like the year it came out. And one of our points of that game was just like, this is extremely chill and easy until you get to the very end. And that's kind of been like a running theme. Like we talked about that in Odyssey as well, though Odyssey obviously is a lot more going for it as a 3D platformer as opposed to a 2D one, where the difficulty of the level is kind of the whole thing. But I think it feels like it's more sneaky, I guess, is the way that I would describe it. They obviously have ghost houses, which have explicitly confusing mechanics in them. Like, that is their purpose. And a thing that I just, like, cannot comment on from a first-time experience. So I'll have to rely on you for that, because I have been doing these ghost houses forever. And I look at them and I'm like, oh, right, this is the one where you have to get outside the maze, or you take the P switch over to here and then there's a blue door. Like, it's just embedded in me at this point. But it comes off, it makes me feel like, oh, this is like much more confusing and much more specific than the earlier games or the later games. Like, there might have been some overlap period between like 3 and this, but I think that for the most part, like a lot of the levels, there's a whole like world, that the forest world, the forest of illusions, where you have to find secret exits for everything. And I feel like it rewards your participation in that more like odd level design with like actual stuff, like new content and other things like that.
Yeah. To me, it does feel very like experimental, because like the original Super Mario Brothers had the like secret warp pipes, and I believe Mario 3 also did.
And the warp whistle.
Yeah. And like in older games, like NES games, kind of were known for being obtuse and having secrets. Like, yeah, like Legend of Zelda is basically a game built around secrets. Not to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but like part of the fun of the original Zelda is realizing there's like a secret on every screen. It feels like this is kind of trying to build on that. Yeah, like the level design does feel a little bit different. Like this whole game, I think does, even I think aesthetically too, it looks the most unique of any of the older Mario games. Yeah, like I don't know. It does feel kind of much kind of like I think the Mario Land games at the same time, like on the Game Boy, were kind of similar. Just kind of playing around with like what Mario could be. Yeah, because like I think this game is probably like a big milestone in terms of like the general public's idea of like secret things in video games. Because like as I said, a lot of older ones were really obtuse, and I think this kind of took the concept and made it a little bit more acute. Like it's like it tells you right up front about the secret exits. So that's the thing that you're thinking about the whole time you play. And then, as I said, like the whole Star Road thing. So like I think it took the idea of secrets in games and made it a more accessible thing. Like it almost feels like it canonized it as like a thing video games do in a certain way.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, well, it's interesting for a lot of reasons. That is a phrase that I need to phase out of my vocabulary because there's a lot of things that are interesting about the way that the levels in this game are designed. I like that there's a different map icon to indicate like this level has multiple exits. It'll be red instead of yellow, so you know to be on the lookout for that stuff. But also like the warp worlds and the warp pipe and the warp flute, all of the warp things in previous Mario games were there as a sort of mechanical concession to the fact that there wasn't a way to save your game. So it made it possible for you to get through the game as like a kid without having to replay all the worlds. You just play one and then get in the warp pipe and head to, different worlds wherever you left off. Whereas in Mario World, you can save your game. There's, in fact, 3 slots, an amenity modern games sometimes don't even give you. And you can also play co-op in the sense that if you aren't on the same screen, it's still classic 2-player mode, but it saves the, like, how many players are playing in your save file as well. So you can have, like, unique save files for different styles of play. And so the secret exits and stuff don't warp you around as much. You can skip levels still in certain circumstances, but it's not as much of a jump as it is in the older games. And I think that because of that, they're allowed to get a little bit more freaky with it. So instead of just being like, well, you can just skip right to, the Chaco Mountains, it's like, oh, if you do this weird thing, you can now get around like this ghost house or something. Like you skip one level or whatever. And they could do that repeatedly, like a bunch of different times, because there's a lot of different levels to go through. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with most of what you said there. I think that there is a sort of canonization of video game secrets that happens definitely on the Super Nintendo era. Maybe this game specifically, but this was like a big proponent of it for sure, especially in platformer level design.
Yeah, and I think especially because the game's like aimed towards kids. Like I think it introduced a lot of people to the idea of secrets in games, which is cool, I think. And then to comment on the ghost houses, because I forgot to, I like them. Like I like the idea of there being puzzle levels, and then them being like designated to a specific type of level, as in the ghost houses. But yeah, I think because once again I've played Mario Maker, I think I was like primed for the idea of people designing Mario levels as puzzles in this way. And I think like future games do have like kind of similar type things. But these are just very explicitly puzzle levels.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like they landed in a kind of a sweet spot for me where like I'd run through a section and then be like, wait, what the fuck? Because I would have just not picked up on what it was putting down at all. But then I'm like, the second run through, I'm like, oh, okay. And it was never like hard to figure out. So you do get that like effect of like the looping haunted house thing. Like you're in a little house of leaves inside each ghost house for a second.
Yeah.
So
Mario 1408'd you long
Yes,
before John
yes.
Cusack did.
Yeah, why wasn't John Cusack cast as Mario in the Mario movie? But yeah, so yeah, no, I like them a lot. But like, no, any listeners of the podcast will not be surprised that I like puzzles. So
that's true. And you're a famous lover of puzzles in games that are not explicitly puzzle games, and the concept of mystery and wonder.
Yes, I am a fan of all those things.
Yeah, maybe we all kind of like feeling wonder, but it was you have brought it up on multiple occasions. So I did think that the ghost houses would work for you, at least like on that level. So that's good to hear. Mm-hmm. I remember, like I said, I can't speak on them now as being like, oh, this one was hard or this one was more obvious or something. But I can tell you that when I was 5 years old or 6 years old or however old I was playing this game, the ghost house, like the first ghost house that's in the like right over above the lake area, was a hard wall for me. Like I don't think I got past that until I had been in school. Like I needed a formal education to figure out Mario Ghost Houses as a child. So yeah, and because of that, I feel like they have this sort of more menacing vibe to me coming back to them now, even though I know how to solve them. Mm-hmm. What always remains menacing, though, are the castle levels. When you talk about Super Mario World, the game is very like explicit about like what kind of level you're about to play. The overworld levels that are just a dot on the map are more free for all, like in their design. They can be focused around different things. There's the ones where like the bonsai bills come after you. And there are ones like that are very like slope centric, but then you have the underground levels, which are indicated with a cave, the water levels, which will be in water. Surprise. Mm-hmm. And then the ghost houses and castles also have special icons to indicate. And of course, there's also forts or fortresses. I forget what they're called exactly. I think fortresses. Which are the ones that have Reznor bosses at the end. I kind of lump them in with the castles, and I love the way that these levels are designed generally, because they amp up the difficulty a little bit, but they also have either like auto-scrolling sections with like automated traps and stuff. I find these levels just like very endearing. I think it's like the music, the atmosphere of the levels, and like the big fucking wooden posts that slam down are really like to me like a really nostalgic sort of like kind of impressive like pixel art asset in a way. Like it sells the type of trap that it is very well, and like the big skewers as well are cool. I'm just a big fan of the castle levels. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about them.
No, I like them. I don't know if I would have thought to specifically shout them out, but like, it feels like it just kind of carries on the idea from the originals in the sense that like it's kind of a way to, through pacing, kind of create like a little narrative. Like, oh, like this is when like things get more serious, so it's like a more of a gauntlet of a level. It's like more challenging. And even, like the 3D games would do this. At least Mario 64, like the Bowser Road levels serve a similar purpose. And they do always stand out. Like they are, like, because like everything's like, happy-go-lucky, especially at the beginning. And then you get to the first castle and it's like, oh, it's serious mode now. So yeah, I do think it leaves an impression for sure.
I mean, the one thing that I know you've gotta love about the castle levels is that when you beat a boss, Mario destroys the castle, but it's like in a different slapstick comedy way every time. That rules.
Yeah, it's very charming. Oh, yeah, one thing, not a castle level, but there's one level that is it's like right towards the end, like right before you get to the final like little world of Bowser levels. It's like a ghost ship. It's like a sunken ghost ship, and I'm like, I've played, most of the Mario games, and they've had like flying ship fortress levels, and there have been underwater levels, but I've never seen like an underwater sunken ship, like ghost ship level. I thought that was really cool. I was like, how the hell have they never done this again? Because it's really, it's like a great idea. It like combines a bunch of things they already do in a thematically appropriate way.
Yeah, and as somebody who is a big fan of the airship levels in Super Mario Brothers 3, I am evidently the only person on the planet who like actually likes auto-scroller levels. But yeah, I love the airships from 3. So to see sort of like a callback to that with the sunken ship was pretty cool. And yeah, I also liked it. And it is weird that it's just kind of the one that exists in the game. So that's a good call out. Did you have anything that you wanted to sort of that stood out to you as somebody coming back to it? Because I know that you were, I mean, if it's all right for me to say this, a little bit unsure if you were going to click with this, given like how old it is and how you haven't, and the way that I react to Super Mario 64, having had sort of a similar experience to you. Did anything sort of like stand out as you being like, oh yeah, that's Super Nintendo design for you, or like that you were surprised by?
Oh God, I feel like I've already touched on a lot of the things that stood out to me, like stuff that like it's the kind of retrospective stuff where you're like, oh, I can see like how like that this game does a lot of like the heavy lifting for Mario Maker, and like a lot of things were introduced in this one. I'm trying to think of like design. The slopes kind of stand out to me. Just from like things I've seen on YouTube, apparently like programming slopes in a platformer is actually surprisingly difficult for what it is. So I guess I appreciate that little innovation. It is like, it makes for some tricky platforming when it's just like all of these like slanted hills all like, there was this like one level where they were like crisscrossing, and it was like surprisingly difficult to get across. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can give you my thesis on the game as in if you I feel like you've been prodding me for it a little bit, because I
just don't want to go through everything on my list as a bulleted thing and be like, here's what I think, there's what you think.
I never played. They got this. Obviously, this game's a classic, and it's like highly reviewed, and one of those classic games that everybody knows. And so, like, I'd never played it before, and I think as I've matured in my gaming tastes, I feel like I played like mostly 2D platformers when I was young, and it kind of got to a point with them where I was kind of like. Almost kind of like be like a parallel to like turn-based games or something. Whereas like anytime somebody makes like a turn-based RPG now, like they have to put like a spin on it, to like kind of justify its existence. I feel like 2D platformers are kind of in that same spot where like no one just makes a straight 2D platformer anymore. They have to have some kind of special gimmick to it. And so like coming back to this game, which is just a pure 2D platformer, I took to it about how I expected, in that like I thought it was fine, and I would almost like kind of, and you're not gonna like the comparison, but kind of compare it to Mario RPG, where I feel like coming to it now for the first time, it feels kind of quaint. And I'm like definitely not getting out of it what other people get out of it based on how they talk about it. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not bad. Like, it's definitely not a you with Mario 64 where I'm like, I think this kind of sucks. I don't think it's bad at all. It's just like not doing anything to really like grab me. It's just kind of fine.
I want to also, I'm going to steel man you on this one, actually.
Sure.
Because I think I think that the fact that the reason that I think that Mario 64 sucks to go back to, and the reason that you think that this game is fine but not that special to go back to, is because this is a sort of solidification of things that Nintendo already knew worked for the most part. There are innovations in places, and obviously, like, the success of the game comes from them excelling at certain areas, and the legacy of it, especially now in the world of ROM hacks and everything, where people prefer Mario World because of its physics and shit, is all relevant and to its legacy and is cool and whatever. But Super Mario 64 is like is miles ahead of it in terms of innovation and like what it was trying to do and taking big swings. So when I come back and I go, fart, I hate this game, it sucks butt. It's because I'm looking at a prototype of what 3D games will ever be, and you're looking at like the best example of a 2D platformer that doesn't do anything else. Like it is like a vastly different thing. So I think your point is correct. I think saying that, I think it makes sense to come back to this game and have that reaction to it. But it's so baked into my brain as sort of like this whimsical nostalgia thing that I will always see it in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody, especially people around our age that played some old ass games, like I'm like that with the original Pokemon. Like I can play Pokemon Red and Blue right now, and it feels like this immersive, magical, huge world of wonder. And it's just like the simplest looking 8-bit graphics, you know, like we've all got that.
It's funny you mention it, because it is like, I think the same way. Like when I think about Super Mario World, I think about like how vast to me it feels like the differences are between the different parts of the game. But then like Mario Wonder does like literally almost exactly the same thing. You like, oh, I leave the grass place and go to the ground place. It's different, and there's different mechanics, and it looks different. But I'm like, that was a sequence of levels that I played through. In Mario World, I'm like, I'm experiencing this world for the first time every time I boot it up.
Yeah, I will say
there is like a nostalgia glasses kind of aspect to it.
I mean, absolutely. I will say this definitely was another step. And I think this is something Nintendo was very much like picking at in the early development of their games. Is like it's like an expansion of the Mario 3 like world map idea. Or it's even called Mario World. Like the whole map is like this one connected space. And it's just another step along that road to like Mario 64 and beyond, where it's like it makes it feel a lot more like an adventure, and like it has more of a sense of place. Because like, I mean, you can, I know that world map, I've seen it. People are very nostalgic to that. Like it's on all kinds of prints. Like I could probably draw it from memory, and I had never played the game. I've seen it so many times, like with like especially like the Bowser rock formation with all the stones around it in the ocean and stuff. Like it definitely has like a sense of place, and like I know if I'd played it at the time, I mean, I'd feel the same way, because it kind of reminds me of the world map from Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. Like it's like that's very burned into my memory, that like that world map, and it just feels like this place, you know, that exists. And I think this game has a similar vibe to it.
Yeah, there's a certain impulse in me to think of like the idea of suggesting remaking something as like an embracing creative bankruptcy, and so, and being like, I hate everything whenever I think of things like that. But you mentioned like the Mario World 2 map, and it's like, if they remade that now, because the big difference for me between the two games which have a similar layout in terms of like how they structure their levels and stuff, is that like this Mario World, it looks glorious in vibrant 16-bit color, right? Like it looks so good, and the dinky ass Game Boy was incapable of rendering something of that magnitude. So I would actually like to see like the reinterpretation of the 6 Golden Coins map in a not even a modern style, but like just a more powerful computer chip style.
I mean, I'm gonna get on this train. Like that game, Mario Land 2: The 6 Golden Coins, is so good for what it is that it should be remade.
Rules, yeah.
More people should play that.
I do like it in its original context, but I think it could be, it would be pretty sick. We're so past like, I hate this because I know that I've seen somebody talk about it before, but there was an era like in that because we talked about the Game Boy Advance version of this game where the only real way for Nintendo to get an old game into the hands of current year players was to print it on a cartridge and give it to them. And we're beyond that now, obviously. Nintendo can say, hey, here's a 1 kilobyte download that is Super Mario Land 2, the 6 Golden Coins. And you can play it on your Switch. And so there is like that middleman gets cut out where they're like, should we make changes? Should we update this for a modern audience kind of thing? And it's one of those things where it does feel like maybe a slippery slope. It would be cool to have a version of that, but like I don't want to see Mario World remade. I feel like it super doesn't need it. And it is just like those early games. The NES games and the Game Boy games feel like they could use it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll ever touch it.
No, probably not.
Yeah, they haven't at this point. I don't think they ever will. They're very guarded about Mario, for sure. Just wait till Shigeru Miyamoto dies, and they'll remake them all within like 5 years.
That is one of the sort of wait and see nightmare scenarios that we'll have to deal with in the unfortunately pretty near future. Or they'll figure out how to put Shigeru Miyamoto's soul into the cloud.
Upload him to the cloud, yeah.
Yeah,
and then
like
he can give
Black
weird
Mirror
game criticism for all eternity.
Exactly. Then they can make newer spiritual Pokemon Snap, where he can actually judge photographs with a human heart and give you you can actually take a good photo and have the game recognize it.
He does that thing. There's like a meme or whatever, a viral clip of him at some award show where like somebody asks him a question, he's like, and then like he flips the thumbs down up. He does that to all your photos. Because he gets a misleading thumbs up or thumbs down. That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever touch it. Like I think it looks and controls nice enough that like there isn't really like a desire to do it. If they were gonna do it at all, it would be like almost in like a Mario Maker style, I would think, where it looks exactly the same and they just kind of like update the physics and the hitboxes and things like for a more modern audience or something. But anyway, yeah, it's a weird thing because like they remade Mario 3 in the Mario World aesthetic, I think, and I hate that. Like I love the way Mario 3 looks, and I don't like seeing it in like different art styles. And this game would be the exact same way. If they made it look different at all, people would fucking hate it. Yeah,
I am a hater of the what is it called? The Superstar Collection? No, that's the new one.
Mario All-Stars?
The All-Star Collection, yeah. The Mario All-Star updates to all of the original games, I think, look objectively worse. They feel like weird Flash cartoons. It wasn't a thing at the time, but that's what it felt like looking at it now compared to the original, which have like the limitations really guided that style. And it's interesting because you see it in, and this is my excellent expert segue. Get ready. You see that sort of like softer visual style that they did for the All Stars games, and then you come back to Mario World, and the emphasis in Mario World is on that sort of on detailed pixel art and on like just headache inducing vibrancy of color. Every level is just popping with different little things. I think part of why the castle levels stand out is because they have that great like gray brick aesthetic with like the bright orange flames and stuff. It's like a very high contrast kind of thing. And it just feels, and it's the contrast, like the difference between the soft, almost painterly pixel art. Figure that one out, artists. Checkmate. Style of the All-Stars games, and then into Super Mario World, which does feels very cartoony and very bright in that way, and that's why I think it's really good. But yeah, I think the art style stands out to me in that like way, the way it's very colorful. But I also think, and this is kind of me rehashing the conversation that I had about Final Fantasy GBA version as well. I think that it also makes a lot of the enemies really stand out. I don't know if you had like a favorite enemy design or anything, but I will have to give mine to the tall blue dinosaurs that when you step on them flatten down like the Wile E. Coyote getting hit with an anvil and then walking off as 2 feet.
Classic. Favorite enemy.
I did mean this visually, but if you had like if you were like, I think Thwimps rule, I'm also okay with that.
I don't like Thwimps at all, actually. I feel like I already knew this enemy existed because they've been in other games, but I feel like Charging Chuck is the standout enemy from this game to me. Just like, well, how about a football player? Like, it just feels so left field in such a Nintendo kind of way.
I do like Charging Chuck. I think that there's a through line that you can draw for, I don't know if this is your favorite enemy from Mario Sunshine, but from Charging Chuck to the much more relaxed Strolling Stew. Yeah. It's a good, if you are a verb and then an alliterative name, I'm all about it. It's a great choice. I also like Pokies, the tall guys in the desert levels. Who sort of like stroll toward. They're like an all-time classic, but I feel like they have
like the cactuses is what they are. Yeah,
and Wigglers make their first appearance. Yeah,
Wigglers are cool. Dude, there's a Wiggler in Tall Mountain in Mario 64 that's in kind of like a secret cave that I don't think I ever found as a kid. And like finding that as an adult and there being like new content to that game I had never seen before was like blew my mind.
Yeah, that would be kind of exciting, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Wigglers are cool. And I think you can play as one in Mario Kart Wii.
Fascinating. I didn't know this.
Yep.
But yeah, I think honestly like the last thing I had to I presume that you did Bowser's Castle the regular way.
Yeah, I did not do Star Road. I didn't have a ton of free time, so I just prioritized finishing the game.
That's fair. I played this game like once and a half times before this. I played some of it on the SNES Mini. But then I was like, I don't want to play this game while I'm sitting in a chair. But the one that I finished, I actually just did the back door, which is like You just kind
yeah.
of go through a short area and then do the final boss. But the front door has like a series of 5 potential challenges that you choose between. And it is genuinely probably the hardest part of the game. And the fact that it forces the player to choose which thing to go into is a thing that I don't think the series really has brought back in a meaningful way, but people make shit like this on Mario Maker all the fucking time. People love the choose your own adventure Mario levels.
Yeah, like, I didn't even understand what it was happening when I got to that part. Like, I just like ran all the way to the last one and was like, this is like the 8th world, so I'll go through the number 8 door, was my logic of how to pick.
Smart.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, there isn't really. I mean, people think that ones are easier than other ones, but I think they're all pretty comparable in terms of how hard they are. So, so I guess the last thing, and it's like one of those things that is just going to be like I mention it, and everyone goes, "Yep," and then we move on and close the episode out. Obviously, the Super Mario World's music is like iconic. It's like a top tier Nintendo soundtrack.
Koji Kondo,
and it pops up all the time. Yeah,
etc.
It's a Koji Kondo banger, obviously. But I do think there's some of the. I mean, this is nostalgia tinted for sure. But some of these tracks I think are like particularly strong, like amongst the series. Like I love the credits theme. I love the bonus room theme. I'm bringing these up because I've used both of them in our own content. And just like, I don't know, I like the little sort of musical stings when you go into the castle and it's like and all that stuff. I think it's really good. I don't think there's a single song that isn't like a top 100 video game track in this game.
Isn't that Sting for when you go in the castle from the original Super Mario Brothers?
If it is, I only remember it from Super Mario World because my brain
I think it is
programmed that way.
Like I think the theme that plays in the castle is like a rearrangement of the same song too. But I might be wrong about that. But the Sting is definitely the same.
Yeah, the Sting is probably the same. The Star World theme. I'm just gonna name all the songs that are in the game. No, those ones do stand out to me though.
Well,
I think there's just a lot of really great stuff.
After you hit the goalpost at the end, that dun 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 dun, that's classic.
That's
classic. The
classic.
definition of classic.
And that isn't gonna sync up at all, and I'm not gonna fix it.
Yeah. The goalpost is something that we didn't mention, and as somebody, I've once again, blah blah blah, played Mario Maker, so I'm familiar with it. But like, it is, I feel like interestingly different from the flagpoles. Like, it really took me a while to figure out like what was going on with it, and this probably it sounds really alien to you as somebody who played it as like a 4-year-old. But like, like the idea, like you have to like hit it while it's going up to like get the like. I still don't know exactly what you're supposed to do, but it's like my guess was, or from like my experience was that like you want to like jump over it or hit the bar as it's rising to get like the different star rating or whatever.
If a piece of wood in the real world looked like the big stomping wood things from the castle levels, I would frankly not be that surprised. This game did a great job visually of I think representing everything really well, except for the thing on the goalposts. It's supposed to be tape, like a strip of paper or something.
I figured it was either that or like a kind of like a pole vaulting bar that you're supposed to jump over.
It looks like a pole vaulting bar to me. It always has, but you are supposed to cross it like you are crossing.
I thought you were supposed to
line.
jump over it.
No, yeah, and if you cross it, then you get the points, and you get more points based on how high up on the thing it is, and rather than giving you a 1-up, it adds more stars, and once you cross 99 stars, you can participate in a bonus game, which is the bonus games in Mario World are impossible. They're not actually, and they're like ways to sort of get them. Well, not one of them. As far as I'm aware, the ones where you like walk in and then there are just 3 blocks and you have to get all 3 O's in order to get a 1-up from it. I don't know if there's a way to choose that or if that just is random chance. But yeah, the one with the rotating blocks that you get from clearing the gold tape is, I find to be, it's easy to like make all of the easy's overstating it. It's moderately okay to make all of the rotating blocks be the same symbol, but like actually getting it to line up with the middle one also seems like random chance to me. Tough shit. But yeah, the goalposts are a notably different way of finishing levels.
I feel like it's a rare example of Nintendo kind of not communicating what they were going for very well. Because I've always found it to be kind of confusing as to like what was even going on with those.
It's a thing that is probably like in the instruction manual, but like that's part of what makes Mario World a good game, and a lot of Nintendo games, is that you didn't need the instruction manual. We couldn't get out of the first area of Echo the Dolphin without reading the manual.
Oh, that was just you. I figured it out.
I couldn't get out of the starting area without reading the instruction manual.
I mean, notably, it took me like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was a thing. I was right on the edge of figuring it out myself, obviously.
Yeah, with your adult man brain.
With my adult man brain. But yeah, so it is a little bit disappointing that there are some areas in Mario World where you're like, do I need to consult outside advice to figure this out?
Oh, didn't you want to talk about the credits? I mean, we already talked about enemies, but...
Well, it's a fitting thing to sort of end the episode with. I think that these are the best credits in video games. Some credits nowadays have like interaction that you like do stuff during them, and like you could argue that that like Smash Brothers Melee kind of started that. Or Smash Bros. 64 had it.
Yeah, the
as well,
original, you could shoot the names, yeah.
So there was, like, this is a thing that's existed for a long time. And I always find that to be, like, a chore that they're giving me to do, more than it is, like, fun and interesting. I love them just naming every enemy in the game. They're like, here are the people who worked on the game, but you really wanted to know about like thwimps and skewer and shit, and spike top. I
very
love
dubious
that.
to include like grinders and whatever else. There were like 2 different environmental hazards that they included as enemies. I was like,
I do like the it is maybe a little bit questionable, though. There is somebody on YouTube, I don't know who it is, just look this up, does like a video that's there is an interesting history to the lava bubble, which is like just the thing that pops up being called a Potaboo. Yeah. So there is some interesting history with the Mario stage hazards just randomly having names. But we're not really the people to get into that. I just love it. I think it's very sort of like chintzy and like and weird, and the music is great, and it feels like an award show theme while you're celebrating that you just beat the game. It feels like a very satisfying actual celebration of you beating the game. And you also get to learn that thing that jumps out of the lava is called a blarg, which is just like a side fun fact.
No, I mean, that makes total sense to me. I feel like, especially like as a kid, that's like a big part of like what's fun about new things is learning stuff. Like I've a big part of like I think what made kids love Pokemon so much, to compare it to Pokemon again, or to bring it up again, or whatever, was learning all the Pokemon's names. Like the Pokerap exists for a reason, right? Like, and yeah, it makes total sense. Like I would have also eaten that shit up as a kid. Like I would take the we got the hand-me-down NES when I was a kid, and we did inherit some of the manuals with the games that we got, and it's like I would take them to school in my pencil box, and I would just like look at them, and like a lot of them would have like bios for the characters. Like the kids love that shit. Like it's such a good inclusion.
Yeah, and it just feels right. I don't know. So I wish that more games would do this kind of a thing. It doesn't have to be like the naming of all the enemies or whatever, but like just like something that is a peek behind the curtain of like the game and how it is, like the world that they built, as a way of sort of like concluding, rather than being simply a style kind of thing.
Well, I think it also kind of like cements Mario's place in pop culture, that they like felt like, well, we have internal names for all this stuff, and like we actually feel like Mario is popular enough that other people want to know this, so they put it in, you know? Like I feel like that's, I don't know, yeah, they were just correct, you know? Like they Mario was popular enough that people wanted to know that stuff. And like was at a time where like you wouldn't necessarily assume all the enemies would have names, you know? So it's like a cool, as you said, peek behind the curtain.
Especially not like the saw blade or the chunk of metal with spikes on it. Like,
everyone's favorite enemies.
Yeah. And they don't even have like eyeballs like everything else in Mario does.
Yeah, Potoboos do have eyes.
That's true.
I do. I remember I was playing Mario Odyssey, and there's like that really hard final level, and there's a chunk where you turn into a Potoboo. It's like one of the capture things. And I was like stuck on it, and I was like, you came into the room or something, and I was like, oh, I'm like this part where I'm like this ball of lava, and you were like, that's a Potoboo. And I was like, the fuck do you know that?
This is how I know.
Yeah.
From
little did I know.
From Mario.
Yeah, that thing had a name.
Then I dropped the microphone and fucking left the room. I was like, you figure it out, idiot. Yeah, that's what I have, except no, I actually have one last note on here.
I actually have 6 more things.
I have 6 more things. I have one last note. It's very stupid. I like boos that are actually blocks that you can stand on.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, pretty sick. Love that.
That's good as a puzzle mechanic, but they only use it for like one little thing.
Yeah,
they could have done more.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if they needed to stretch the game's length out a little bit, that is a mechanic they could easily have come back to, because there's a lot you could do with it. Yeah. Oh, also the Koopalings.
Oh,
this is their first appearance as well. I like. I'm not even going to talk about them, frankly. Their boss fights are like pretty good for the most part, though they're like kind of variations on 2 themes, which is fine. It's a pretty early game. It's surprising that they had as much variation as they did. But they are also all named after, in the English version, they're all named after famous musicians. Famous and also, mostly famous, but it's like Iggy Pop and Roy Orbison are all like the characters.
Von Beethoven.
Ludwig von Beethoven, a classic. But it does call into question the fact that there is the other boss that is like the 4 dinosaurs on a rotating thing that is called Reznor, which is presumably named after Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails, which feels way too contemporary for them to have a guy named after him.
Maybe it's a coincidence.
But I haven't looked that up, and I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah. No, that did stand out to me as like a weird. It must have just been a thing they prototyped and then just decided to put in the game.
Yeah, and then you get to fight him multiple times.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this castle's just got dinosaurs on a Ferris wheel.
Which I will say, I'm once again 30 years beyond being able to comment on this as like how I thought when I first saw them. But I would imagine that seeing a Ferris wheel of dinosaurs is like a pretty weird thing to see if you're not expecting it.
I mean, it definitely is. But I do think, and I don't know, I didn't really pick up on it if this is the case, but like I think the original idea for this game was that like the world was supposed to be like a dinosaur world, like themed entirely, which I think was supposed to be the idea for the original game, but they didn't end up going with it, like the original Super Mario Brothers. And it kind of starts off that way because you start off on Yoshi's Island, but then like I feel like then there are just like only dinosaurs a couple of times.
That is true.
There's a lot of like a dinosaur island.
Yeah, there's a lot of like beetles and birds, and you come back to some more classic Mario enemies in some areas.
Moles.
Yeah,
still lots of
Monty
Koopas.
Moles. Charging Chuck might be a dinosaur. He's just a
Pretty sure he's
dinosaur
a
that
Koopa.
learned to play football. He's probably a Koopa.
Pretty
though.
sure, yeah.
There is Choco Mountain, though, which does have the dinosaurs that you step on and then they become half dinosaurs.
Right, yeah, those do exist. There are some dinosaurs.
And they're the Triceratops enemies, the small ones and the big ones. But yeah, you're right. Otherwise, and then it stops. Then they disappear again afterward.
The land of the lost.
Do we have fuzzy thoughts?
My fuzzy thoughts. I mean, I basically gave them in the middle of the episode. Yeah, this is a game that I did not play as a kid. I know I would have loved it if I did, because I loved the original Mario Brothers, and I loved Mario Brothers 3, and Mario 64 after that. So, but yeah, just did not have a Super Nintendo, so missed out on all the cool Super Nintendo games. Unfortunately, coming back to this now, it feels very quaint, and kind of felt like lacking in stuff to latch onto for me. But taking it in context, as I also mentioned towards the beginning, I mean, you do see a lot of stuff that you recognize, you know, like there's a lot of stuff that's influenced future Mario games and other games, other platformers that followed. I really like the spin jump. I think that's a great inclusion. I like the cape. I think the P block, or like the exclamation point buttons and things, and like the spinning blocks, and there's all kinds of stuff that were added in this that are just very core to what Mario is now. Yoshi, Koopalings, etc. Yeah, and I think genuinely that like the secret exits, I think they just brought that back in Mario Wonder. Like I don't think that's been in any other Mario game since. And that's really cool. Like I think that's genuinely interesting. It adds replay value in a way that's interesting and not stupid. And yeah, and the Star Road thing, everybody already knows about that. That's iconic. Even though I didn't play it myself, I'm aware that it's there, and other games have done similar things. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to appreciate. But yeah, it's just the way the flow of time. You know, I'm playing this 30 years later. So yeah, obviously it wasn't gonna hit me the same as if I had played it when it came out. Especially after playing Mario Maker and things like that, you know, are so obviously taking from this in very specific ways. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely like makes that the Mario puzzle feel that much more complete. You know, just seeing where everything comes from, and playing it for myself. So like, I'm glad I've played it. You know, like I can now punch my gamer card and have that much more credibility that I've now played it. Didn't do a ton for me, but like it was still good, you know. Kind of like it was much better than Mario Land, but I felt like I felt a little similar about Mario Land, where it was like, this is like an old platformer, but like it holds up surprisingly well. Like Nintendo were definitely perfecting the craft pretty early on. for the 2D platformer, so it still holds up to play like mechanically really well, but just isn't doing a lot that I haven't seen before. So I will leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think what we strive for in every game that we choose is for it to not be a waste of time. I think that it did pass that bar, which is nice. Yeah, no, for me, it is one of the all-time classics. It's one of the first video games that I ever played, which it makes it really hard for me to look at it from like a more objective point of view. So I think my reaction to it is largely understandable. I do think this is one of those games that if you haven't played, it's worth going back to. I think seeing this is like, I mean, if you're a fan of 2D platformers generally and haven't played it, that just seems insane to me, which is why we're here in large part. So it's very cool. I think the stuff that it does that are unique to it, especially for the time, like you mentioned already, like the P-switch palaces, being able to like interact or have stuff that is consistent across levels, like it's not all self-contained because now the yellow switch palace is activated, so now this gap has a line of blocks across it, or you get a free cape before the boss because you activated the red switch palace, whatever it is. I think that stuff is really cool and helps sell my favorite thing about Mario World, which is just that it feels like a complete sort of like every area feels a little bit different. It feels like there's progression as you make your way around. The world map is very cool and colorful and fun to look at. I like that you can press a button and then it brings up the eras on the screen and you can pan around the map so you can kind of get a preview of what's coming up. It's very cool. I like that the bridge is called Cheese Bridge. Everything about the game is just very like whimsical and vibrant and fun for me in a way that sort of represents childhood in a way that few things are because of the time and place where I was when I played this game. So yeah, it's great. It's the greatest platformer of all time. I had a very fun time going through it again. And we'll happily play it like next year probably because I just do that sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have like anything major to add. I just really like this game and I'm glad that we got to play it. And I'm excited to announce that I'm pregnant now. That
And Yoshi is the father.
Yeah, I never know for May in specific how we should transition into the ending. Because if I say thank you for listening to Describing the Skybox this week,
what will the die dictate that we are playing next time?
Next time it's Mystery May. We finally taken the time to update the tables, and we are going to be rolling on the short games table first this year.
7.
Next time we're going to be talking about Fez.
Oh wow.
This is, I mean, the purpose of the Mystery May tables, if you are unfamiliar, is that we have sort of just put all of the games that we said we wanted to play back during the Obama administration into a list. And Fez is definitely one of those games that's been on there for a long time.
I specifically remember after recording an episode, probably like Chrono Trigger or something, somewhere in that era, sitting out back of your parents' house, me, you, and JJ like talking about games and us like talking about doing Fez. So that was probably like 2015.
Yeah, it's been a long fucking time. So, I mean, there was at a certain point, there was never a less apt time to play it. So good to see that we're getting to it now. Until that time, you can get a hold of us. All of our contact information is on our website at describingtheskybox.com. or on splattershot.pro. There you can find links to all of our old episodes, our Discord, our YouTube channel, our Blue Sky account. And you can listen to any of our episodes, including ones that we did on Super Mario Wonder,
Mario 64, Mario Odyssey, Mario Sunshine. All the
Mario
Marios.
3D World,
Oh, yeah.
plus Bowser's Fury.
Yep.
Yeah, every Mario game ever made.
Mario
Except-
Land 1, Mario Land 2.
Which we did do in reverse order as the first and last episodes of Pocket. What a fascinating experiment this has been. And Celeste.
Yeah, also Celeste.
And all the Celeste. Go to the green Switch Palace to activate the subscribe button.
Dunk Yoshi into a pit so that you can reach that like button or bell, whichever one you didn't say.
Take the Star Road to hit that bell.
Hit one of those bluish purple blocks that brings up text on the screen in the comment section.
Yeah, type out your help message. I think it's supposed to be like a loudspeaker.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's like a blue square with like a cross-hatched circle.
Yeah,
in
it
the
looked
middle
like
of it.
something like a fucking acorn or something to me.
It could be an acorn. It could be a cowboy
A
hat.
loudspeaker makes way more sense.
Yeah, type up one of those in the comment section. You idiots. Goodbye. Presumably, we would do long, short, long.
I was thinking the opposite.
You think short, long,
shorts
short.
and a long, or two longs,
Or just two longs, no shorts.
I think we could do short, long, short, 3 shorts, or maybe even 4 shorts. I guess depending on how short they are, or 2 longs.
A beep, beep, boop.
Beep beep boop beep.
Two shorts, 2 longs, 1 short.
Or
two
yeah,
shorts.
or we could just not care.